What's up, guys? Debo here. I'm here to give my quick inputs on Wolcen. I'm going to try to just do this as a bare bone video to give my personal opinion on how the game is and its inevitable future and what's going to happen. First and foremost, thank you guys for checking out the video. I know I haven't been around that much on YouTube, but I have been uploading the podcast, and I have been doing a little side work for Ragnarok Online and stuff for what's going on. So Wolcen finally came out, as you guys know. Shout out to NYC for actually getting me the game. Played in the alpha. The game is dramatically different than what it is now. I like the combat, I like the style, I like the play style, because it was, originally to be kind of like Diablo 3 with a mixture of PoE. The early alpha of the game changed dramatically so much that, it's kind of pointless to really talk about it. I mean, they had a good, skill tree developed and different stats and different things, but the game was crashing a lot, so I just opted not to play that much. Then outside of all that, came back around in, I think, November 2019, started playing all the updated stuff and what the game was going to end up being. I really enjoyed it. My main thing is, above and beyond, I'm more concerned about the polish of the game. I'm more concerned about, is the optimization good? Does the combat play fluidly? Do people with low specs can play and do pretty well with this game and enjoy it? Low-end computers or high-end computers and things like that. I feel like a lot of these gaming companies have gotten away from that. The game has been optimized pretty decently compared to what it used to be for beta. Still, I think it could have went a little bit better, but overall, I'm doing pretty okay. The game runs pretty well. Had some crashes here and there, but I guess that's just to be expected. For a game that was developed by 40 people, I think it's pretty solid. I know a lot of people have been giving them crap because the online play, people weren't really able to connect to the online server so they can access their characters. They have an online and an offline mode. The online mode, of course, you just go there, your characters maintained on their databases, and that's about it. There is no multiplayer yet. Eventually, they're going to have some type of leaderboards amongst people who play online, and eventually they're going to have when they need more time, they're going to basically have full functioning multiplayer with, 4 to 5 people in a game, which will be pretty cool. But they're going to take time for that. So they stated that back in their beta, that when they released the game, they weren't going to have the multiplayer ready. So to be fair, they did tell everybody ahead of time, and that's all I ask for these companies to do, is just to be transparent and be honest, and they were. So if you want to play online and have your character ready for the future, you can always put it there, and then in the future when the multiplayer comes, you'll have a high-level character ready to play. But I don't know if that's... outside of that, I really don't see the point of playing online. Unless it's just to play a couple of your friends and stuff like that. We don't know if they're going to do leagues. We don't know if they're going to do anything like how Diablo 3 has. I hope they do, because that would be great. But if they were going to do that, that would undertake a big project, because they would have to roll out those patches, get the server stable, and get everything running well. They had 60 to 85k peak, which was pretty good. But like I said, it caused a lot of problems with online. I think a lot of people were just eager to play something that can be like something that's different from PoE and different than Diablo 3. I think it contains elements of both games pretty well. I don't think it's going to be the end-all be-all and knock PoE down. I don't think it's better than PoE. I think it's a solid game compared to Diablo 3, but for me to say that this game is definitively better than it, it would need to add leagues and, add ladders, and maybe not even ladders, just like, a rotating season with different events and different little combinations and stuff, and a little bit more polish. If I had to give the game any type of rating, just treating it as a offline experience, or just treating it as a single player experience, I give it about an 8.5. The combat plays very fluidly. The graphics are fantastic. The spell effects are kind of bland, to be honest, but maybe in future endeavors they can spruce those up a little bit. Storyline is actually pretty cool. Voice acting is done very well. Complexity of skills is pretty interesting. You're allotted, I do believe, 5 skills on the number pad, 1 left click and 1 right click, for a total of 7 skills, if I'm not incorrect. Or I could be wrong about that, but the left click. But you got 1 through 5, 5 is locked off. You have to get the in-game to access that, which actually is pretty cool. You know, making players actually have to build towards something if they want to have that fixed skill slot in there. The skill tree is actually done pretty well. It's like PoE, except you can actually rotate the wheel the way you want to, which is really pretty cool. I like that a lot. So there's a lot of good skills inside the skill tree, a lot of cool different skill builds and things that you could do. I think until people figure out the game, it's usually just best to kind of match up the skill wheel for your class before you start trying to hybrid in other classes. And I'm sure as people get towards the end game and start figuring things out, people will start, you know, hybriding in different types of builds and what they want to do. So I definitely commend them on that. In terms of the actual skills themselves, the skills level up, so you actually have to grind and level them up to, I do believe the max level is level 90 for these skills. So that's pretty cool. And in each individual skill tree, you're allotted a certain amount of points, and you can pick up different abilities and effects for that said skill at the consumption of points. So let's just give you an example. If you have 10 points, there might be something for, let's say, your poison golem that you see on the screen right there. It might be something like make the poison golem draw more threat and become more aggressive or whatever. It makes it so that he's more tanky, makes it so he holds aggro better. That's going to consume 3 out of your 10 points. And then you basically spend points until you have none. And then if you want to get something else, but you don't have enough points, you'll have to take away something else that you are invested points into and put it somewhere else. You can do this anytime freely. You can invest in this anytime further. On the fly, inside of a dungeon, you can change certain things around, which is pretty cool. The leveling of the skills in combination with, arranging the skills to how you want is pretty cool. Because some monsters can be set to cold or, fire property attacks. I know the golem has 2 different forms. One from like a arcane mage that casts a shield and that's ranged, and another form that's basically like a swordsman that's like an aggressor that leaps into combat. Or you can keep him as his traditional tanky poison golem type self. So all in all, I wish Diablo would have definitely had something like that. That would have made the game a lot interesting. Like you have to individually level up your skills to high level. That is a nice little aspect of it because, as your skills level up, they get more, they get better stats and stuff. And I think that's actually a pretty cool effect. There's nothing wrong with making people, work for their stats. I like all the different skills you're able to carry and place on your key, on your different skill trees and stuff like that. Like, for the most part, if you meet the requirements, you can kind of do whatever you want. You could pick up a skill from another class, and I do believe as long as you have the appropriate equipment equipped for it, you can use it. So you could actually do maybe some type of weird, if you wanted to go like a poison build on the caster class, you can go with some poison pets and then maybe wear a crossbow and then go some points into the rogue/assassin tree and or use some certain skills that normally, in most other games you wouldn't be allowed to do. So the cool thing is that brings a lot of creativity to the game. So you have the skill passive tree that empowers your skills and certain stats like, increased damage or plus to ailments or plus to minions, and all that can be swinged around, and you got so many different builds that you can figure out. That's pretty cool in itself. And then the skills are not just tied to class specifics. You can actually equip things from other classes and use things and other skills as long as you have the requirements for that skill. The skill might require you to have a gun in order to use the skill, which is cool, and that adds a lot of complexity while also keeping the game pretty straightforward and simple. Because you could try to theory craft a lot of different stuff, or you can just be like, well, I'm just going to stick kind of with my skills of what's meant for my class and stick with the passives that help me do what I want to do, and you could be successful that way. Whereas other people who really want to push the game to its limits can try different setups, So I definitely commend them from that, because that's a big step up from Diablo 3, which kind of forces you into going to certain builds. I don't know if they're going to have trading when they have multiplayer in the future. I hope they do. It looks like they have different kinds of items in terms of like it goes from blue items to yellow rare items to standard legendary items and then unique items. So hopefully it's a combination of maybe 1 or 2 unique items that have certain specific stats and cool abilities that go towards the build, and then you know, you have a couple legendary items because they're just best in slot for you. They have items like in PoE where you can re-roll certain affixes of certain items. They also have map components that you can actually add to their style of maps, or basically greater rifts. They have a system inside the game where once you get to the end game, you can develop certain things for your character, like through investing in the town and doing like little missions. It's the best way I guess I could describe it is kind of like what do they call them? Well, the garrisons. You know, it's not all the way like that, but you go in. If you have the resources, you can get them to build stuff and unlock certain buildings for your town, which gives you more access to, like, one mission made it so that you unlock your 5th skill tree. Another one gives you a passive point. Another one gives you more capability to store more, or another stash tab. And that is really cool. So basically, in between your greater rift grinding and your expedition grinding, you know, you invest in these projects in the town that take a while to do, and then after you run so many missions and stuff like that, you come back, and then, you know, they'll be completed, and you can reap the benefits of what they actually, you know, provide you. Will reap the benefits of whatever the project you started. So I definitely like that aspect of it too. I mean, that's pretty much it right now. They got 3 acts. I do believe the game's like $40. It was cool. I enjoyed it. Plays like Diablo 3 with the mixture of PoE. You know, like if they had a baby. Is it perfect? No. Is there a long road ahead of it to get it to that S tier type action RPG? Yes. Do I think they're capable? Yes. Will they need time? Yes. Is it going to happen overnight? No. If they keep updating it and they stay with it and they keep going in the right path from a year from now, I think it will be a phenomenal game within a year from now. If they really put a lot of effort into it, it's going to be really interesting to see how they do the online play. Their best bet is just to steal like league ideas, you know, from PoE. Have a solo self-found leaderboard league. Have a, you know, league where it's just, you know, or have like a certain setup where you go to a dungeon and maybe like in Diablo and you do greater rift systems. If they just keep stealing all the ideas from the other games that people like, you know, enjoy and like, they could definitely have a very compelling game on their hands. But like I said, I don't want to assume that they're going to go down that path. We have to wait. I mean, it does cost a lot of money to do all these things, and it does take time to develop. I think right now, though, they should just get that 4th act out in the next month or two, polish up the game, make it work real smooth, and get that online functioning very well. After they do that, and they can get that done, then I think we'll be good to go. I don't think there'll be any problems. I think, you know, overall they can have a fantastic product on their hands. There's a long way to go, and you know, that's just the main thing, man. But I think it's worth the purchase if you're looking for some action RPG to play. I think most people will like it. About maybe 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 people that pick this game up will be happy with the quality of the game and what goes on. I'm going to keep playing it, trying to get closer towards the, you know, max level and just keep grinding out a little bit at a time. I'm currently going kind of like a caster / pet build, you know, and it's been working out pretty good where, you know, I use my pets to do some pretty good damage on certain elite monsters. You know, they can tank them for me while I sit back to the side and throw out some pretty good damage with my fireballs. Or I also have this talent, picks up when you stand around enemies, it makes them become poison, and there's a lot of cool little intricate little effects and stuff like that. So I've been having pretty much a pretty good time. So outside of all that, I hope you guys liked the video. I might reserve 1 or 2 days out the week when I'll play Wolcen on stream, but for the most part, the only thing you can expect from me in this game is maybe I might put out some builds and try some different stuff. And, I mean, that's really about it. I'm not going to really, you know, push myself to the limit in this game because there's no league and there's no rankings and stuff like that. And there's no trading. It's just, for what I treated it as, it was just a standalone single-player game. But anyways, I appreciate you guys stopping on by. I hope you guys liked this little informal video about Wolcen, my point of view of the game. I think most people should go pick it up. May not be for everybody, but if you like PoE, if you like Diablo 3, this is like the perfect love child baby for you. Just give the developers some time. Just treat it as a single playing experience, and then hopefully they'll do right by the multiplayer and add more stuff to it. But all in all, I like it. So, hope you guys have a good day. Make sure you guys stop by and see that podcast on Sundays. We still do that, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you guys want to see future videos and stuff and all that, YouTube, blah, 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 like, subscribe. You guys know the deal. So, anyways, man, I'm Debo. I'm out. And I'll see you guys next time.